Hi folks, the Filipina Pea here. And since I've been interviewing a lot of different types of Filipinos lately, many of you have made the comment, why don't you answer those questions yourself, P? Well, I normally try to keep my own views out of it so I don't interfere with the answers of the people I'm talking to. But today, I'm going to turn the tables and interview myself. So here are almost all the questions from all the interviews I've done so far, and even some that haven't aired yet, in no particular order. I'm just going to sit here, relax in this beautiful place on top of the mountain in the clouds, and give you the definitive interview you asked for. I hope you enjoy. Maybe not. All right, let's start with the first question. Okay, do you believe in love at first sight? I like this question. All right, so personally, no, I don't. I believe in attraction at first sight. According to Fritchie, the girl from the first panel of women I interviewed, she said it's more of a visual thing that you like the way he looks, the way he smells, and stuff like that. I don't think it's necessarily love. It's basically more of a pheromone thing for me as well. So, no guys, I don't believe in love at first sight. Because obviously nowadays you can filter your pictures, or maybe even if you meet someone in the coffee shop, it's like, that's kind of creepy. It's like, hey, I love you. It's like, ooh, if someone would do that in front of me, I'm gonna run for the hills. So, no guys, I don't believe in love at first sight. All right, next question. Do you believe in true love, or are relationships just a transaction? I like this because this is very controversial. All right, some of you might agree with me, and most of you will disagree with me. So let's agree to disagree. All right, folks? Personally, all relationships, whether it's just friends or a romantic interest, it could be called a transaction because it's about filling each other's needs. Maybe it's a need for companionship. Maybe it's a need for safety. Maybe it's a need to give yourself to someone. But every relationship is about needs. But it doesn't mean to say there couldn't be love in there. Because I don't think those things are mutually exclusive at all. So, yeah, all relationships are transactions, but there could be love in it. It's however you define it, whatever floats your boat. All right, next. How do you know if you're in love? Ooh, I like this too. All right. I think someone's in love when you think of your partner's happiness first before yourself. Um, if my happiness comes from making them happy instead of what I can get from them, then I think I'm in love. And folks, I love you guys. So, what makes you happy? I produce the content you like. So, I love you all. So that's my definition. That's how I know if I'm in love, because I think making sure that your partner's happy is the purest kind of love. Making sure they're safe and, yeah, pretty much happy. I put their happiness first before mine. That's, you have to be selfless and you're given your all. That's how I define my state of being in love, if you would say that. All right, next question. Oh, do you think men are only attracted to youth and beauty? That's the first thing you notice for men, but it's not exclusive to men. I think women do the same thing. I think most guys have a certain threshold that needs to be met in the looks department, same as girls. But hopefully that's not what keeps them interested, because for me, obviously, for me as a woman, I can use my youth and beauty to attract a guy. But I think if I have a very agreeable personality, my attitude, I'm very pleasant to be around. I think that will keep a man interested, and it's beyond just physical attraction. So, yeah, men are visual, but not exclusive to men. Women do the same thing too. All right, next question. Do you think it's possible to fall in love online? Oh, okay, for the guys out there, I think it's possible to think you are. So, what's the difference between being in love and thinking you're in love? Sorry, guys, I don't have the answer. But I think it's I think in the case that you like the image of that person, you like the persona. You love the persona online. So you don't really know the real person unless you meet them. Does that make sense? I'm blabbering. Okay, next question. Okay, would you ever marry someone online without having met them? Okay, I know I have answered this question before, and same thing when I covered the story of Roy and Mildred who got married online. But for me personally, folks, it is not for me because there's a lot of things unanswered until you spend time with that person. You're marrying your mental image of someone, not who they really are. Well, that's just for me. You could get lucky like Roy, but it's not for me, folks. Because what if we don't have divorce here in the Philippines, guys? We only that's that for me it's a lifetime commitment. I really want to know that person if that's the guy and that's it because I just only want to get married once, basically. So no, no marriage online. No marriage online for me. So please keep your online proposals. Just kidding. All right, next question. Do you think a man should consider a woman's past or just accept her as she is? Oh, a man should definitely consider a woman's past, not just her notch count, but all the decisions she's made in her life. Like Dr. Phil says, the best indicator of someone's future behavior is their past behavior. People can sometimes change, but for me, guys, usually a cheater is a cheater and a liar is a liar. And usually people don't change. So that's about it. Next, do you think you can have good sex without being in love? Ooh la la. Yes, because I think the sex act and love are two different things. You should be able to differentiate love from lust. The physical pleasure of sex is more fulfilling when you're in love, obviously, but I'm sure the act itself can be enjoyable regardless. But as you know, guys, Filipinas can't usually differentiate love from sex because for them, if you sleep with them or if you sleep with a woman, that's about it. All right, next question. Would you call yourself a traditional woman? Yes and no. There's not much that's traditional about me except my values. I believe in one mate and one love. And when I find that, I'll give it everything. You can have me, 100% of me. No ifs and buts. That's it. Next. Oh, what's your maximum acceptable age gap? I've answered this during my Q&A video when I just started my YouTube channel, and I've said, and I'm gonna say it again, I've dated men twice my age with no problem. So I'd say the maximum age gap should be twice my age. But you should be fit, humorous, kind, and stuff like that. I'm not really into guys who are overweight. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just me. It's just my preference. So yeah, as long as you're healthy, that makes me happy. and as long as you're interesting. So twice my age. Next. Would you consider moving to the West or would you rather stay in the Philippines? Again, I'd like to either immigrate to the West or spend half the time here and half the time there. Just a change of scenery. Um, try different things that are not available here in the Philippines, such as clean air. Well, there's clean air over here in the mountains, but in the city, it's not really, the trash problem and stuff like that. But yeah, half the time here and half the time in the West. Next question. What are the biggest red flags when getting to know a foreigner? All right, my Filipina sisters, listen to this. This is just my 2 cents. I think the main thing that turns me off about a guy, if he implies that I need rescuing from my current life and that he has all the answers, you know, also someone that starts every conversation with the list of his assets. Oh my God, I don't like those kind of guys. When they do that, they are totally missing the point. Well, with me anyway, because for me, either they're narcissistic and they're just bragging about their personal assets. You have to get to know me. I mean, I don't need rescuing. I'm just fine by myself, although it is hard life here in the Philippines, but I don't want to be always be the damsel in distress. And don't act like you have all the answers in the world, because I would really appreciate if we have a partnership. You know, you will ask for my advice and I'll listen to yours, and then afterwards we can come up with a better solution. So, yeah, those are the red flags for me. All right, next question. What do you bring to the table? Why should a man marry the pea? Great question. First and foremost, you would never ever hear me say, I am the table. I consider myself a modest person, so I don't like to brag. But I think I could bring a lot to the table. The first thing is loyalty. I won't betray you. Having someone you can count on to have your back is probably the most important thing for the security of a relationship. I'm not gonna mention love because that's a given. I obviously wouldn't marry someone I don't love. But then there's companionship. I make a great companion because I can talk about almost anything, so you'll never ever be bored. Irritated sometimes, but never bored. I'm not afraid of hard work either, so you never have to support me, and I'll add to us as a couple, not subtract from it. And finally, I'd say that I'd be good at encouraging you to be the best version of yourself, not by nagging you, but by showing you how being truly happy can bring out the best in someone. And, you know, at least that's what I think I can bring to the table anyway. Plus, I'm usually a happy person, except when I'm hungry and I have my period. So, next question. Would you give your loyalty to your family first or to your husband? Ooh, that's an easy one. I've answered this before, but this one is just for me. I will definitely give my loyalty to my husband first. I want us to act as a unit and make a future together. My mother told me that always choose your family first. Then, obviously, if I'm marrying someone, that's my family. So I'll give my loyalty to my family first. You know, if there's a disagreement between my family and my husband, I'll probably be the mediator. But my duty is always to my husband. There's no doubt about it. Sure, I love my family and they know that. They can never come between me and my husband though. I made sure that my family knows that and they're fine with it. Doesn't mean to say that I don't love them, but yeah. I think I'm just lucky. Okay, next. Do you think traditional Filipino culture will survive in the Philippines? To tell you honestly, no. All cultures evolve. It's just a question of time, really. Social media and the internet have sped up the clock, obviously, especially in very traditional country like the Philippines, conservative cultures. I don't think it'll last, but I don't think province life will be destroyed though. It'll just mutate into something different, not necessarily better or worse. So, next question. Would you rather have a husband who's handsome and poor or one that's ugly and rich? Well, this might sound like a cop-out answer, but it's true. I just see either one of those things as bonuses, not requirements. So if the person I fall in love with is handsome, then great. If he's rich, hurrah, great. I really wouldn't choose one over the other. Nah, if I have to choose, I guess I'd say rich because looks fade and you can invest money in the future. Right. Next question. Would you rather have a man that could make you laugh or one that gave great massages? Well, some of you know that I'm a trained massage therapist, so that's just work to me. So I think I'd rather go with someone that could make me laugh. Humor takes intelligence, and that's another turn on for me. Anyway, so yeah, someone that can make me laugh. Next. How would you say you're different from the girl you were at 20? How have you changed? I'm much less naive than I used to be. I wasn't as good at reading people's real intentions and I just listened to their words, but then I grew up. That's life. All right. Do you ever worry about hitting the wall now that you're in your 30s since there are so many 20 something running around? Well, obviously, no one wants to get older, but I have more to offer than my looks. Obviously, this is not the main catch, which is nothing special anyway. I consider myself an average looking Filipina. Maybe some guys would say I'm only a 4 or a 5. I don't really care, but I'm not worried about that. Not just yet. But I am more interesting. I can offer a lot, though. No, I'm not worried. Not just yet. Next. Do you ever think that as you get older, men will assume you've had too many partners and not be interested in you? Hmm. No, because I haven't, and I'm honest about my past with anyone I date. So I don't think it'll be an issue because I'm like a book and I'm very transparent. And I'm not a good liar too, even if I try. Okay, next. What do you think is the biggest difference between foreigners and local men? Well, foreigners tend to be much more direct, so you always know where they stand on things. They speak their mind and tell you how they feel. And you know how I am about communication, guys, so that's a huge benefit for me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I can't be with a local guy because we're not in sync in terms of communication. I don't know. This is just my preference. I tried dating local guys, but it's just not working for me. So yeah, foreigners are more about communication and being direct, being upfront, and especially being honest. Some of them are players, obviously, but most of them are, I would say, honest. Okay, next. Is it better to be broke but in love or have financial security without love? Hmm. For me, it's better to be broke but in love because what use is money if you're not happy? Also, you can always work together to make more. That's a no-brainer, right? Next. Are you more or less interested in sex than you were 10 years ago? Woo. As far as interest, I'd say it's about the same. As far as opportunity, it's much less now because all I do is work. So, not much time there. Next. Okay, do you think an active sex life is a necessary ingredient to a successful relationship? Yeah, absolutely. I think the physical aspect is an integral part of a close bond between people in a committed relationship. You know, exchange of pheromones and stuff. That's the bonding part. So, yeah, I totally agree. Next question is, do you support your family? Yes, I do. And I've been supporting my family since I was a teenager because I was a working student. And I'm currently putting my brothers to school. They're both in college now. And I'm finally building my family their forever home. So, yes, I'm supporting them. And I'm going to show you the progress of the house very soon, guys. So, stay tuned. Yes, I've been told it's my responsibility as the eldest child, but I do it because I want to, not because I have to. There's a difference. And I'm lucky because my family, doesn't force me to support them. I do it because I like helping my family, especially my siblings, giving them a fighting chance in the future, putting them through school. I think that's the best gift I can give to them. So yeah, I support them. Not because I am obliged or that's the utang na loob. No, it feels good to help, especially if you're not forced to do so. So, yeah. Next, what do you think is the biggest flaw with Filipinas? I'd say the biggest flaw is that we're not logical. We tend to be too superstitious and emotional. And we don't seem to see both sides of an issue. You know, it's clouded by strong emotions and yelling and screaming. We Filipinos can be a very frustrating to deal with sometimes, most of the time. I think the guys out there can relate. But for me, well, I guess I'm not your average Filipina. I'm more agreeable and I don't like screaming and yelling. I like to discuss things logically, especially serious things. So you wouldn't hear me yelling or screaming, unless again if I'm hungry and I have my period. So just beware. Next, would you say the Filipinos are loyal? Not particularly, no, until we commit to someone. Filipinos make very good, loyal partners, but when we're just, talking to you, the first initial date, I tend to say no, they're not that loyal. We often have a lot of irons in the fire. So if it's early in the relationship, I'd say no, but after we bond with you, then yes. Next. What's your general impression of foreigners? Okay, they're mostly very friendly, very talkative, very direct and frank, and for the most part, pretty honest. Yeah, they're also very interesting to talk to. They're very engaging and have a totally different perspective of the world, about everything. On the flip side, though, they can be full of crap and just out to get in your, the kind of thing. They just say the right things to get into your pants. But fortunately, I've learned to tell the difference. Hooray. Next question. Why do you think Filipinos date foreigners? I think for some, the primary attraction is financial security. We see foreigners as a way to a better life, but it's not like we're holding our noses when we date a foreigner because we actually do find you attractive too. And then there's plenty of us Filipinos, me included, that find foreigners to be interesting and kind. So when you add it all up, it's hard to pinpoint a single reason. Next. Do you think most Filipinos are in love with the foreigners they're with? It depends. Are they just with them or are they married to them? If I just see a mixed couple, especially with a very large age gap, and the Filipina is wearing tight-fitting Western-style clothing with a lot of bare skin, I admit then that I often wonder and I have my doubts. But when I see a mixed married couple, it means they've both taken the plunge. So I'm more confident that they love each other enough to commit. Does that make sense? Next. Would you date a black foreigner? Yes. I'm not hung up on the whole skin color thing. It's about the person, not about the race. There's no race or ethnicity I wouldn't consider dating. So yeah, I actually think they're attractive. So, do you see anything wrong with the way local guys treat Filipinas that make them want to date foreigners? Yes. Not all, but some. They cheat a lot, they don't mind getting you pregnant, and they run away, and they sometimes aren't very ambitious. As long as they have food for the day, it's okay with them. That's good enough. Well, that's not good enough for me. So, yeah, that's one of those things. Why do you think there are so many single mothers in the Philippines? Oh, I know why. Birth control is frowned upon. Girls are taught it's their duty to have kids, which is wrong. And there's no consequences for guys that just run away after impregnating someone. Although we have child support laws, it's not really implemented. So, and also girls, learn how to say no, okay? Because again, it takes two to tango. Next. Can you tell if someone was born in the provinces or the city by the way they talk, dress, and act? Yes, I can. I think I've spent a lot of time in the city and in the provinces, so I just know, especially the way they dressed themselves. And the hair thing. If it's bleached, most likely they're from the city. And if they really are comfortable wearing short shorts, yeah, they're from the city. Province girls are more, I don't know, more modest. They like to wear skirts or pants, jeans. They're not more into showing skin. And I admit, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, you cannot ask me to wear a pair of shorts. I'm always wearing pajamas. I know it's kind of weird because you are supposed to only wear pajamas in your bedroom, but we actually go out in pajamas or maybe long pants. So yes, I can tell the way they talk, the way they dress, and the way they act. How many Facebook and other social media accounts do you have? Okay, to tell you honestly, I have zero personal social media accounts. None. The only accounts that I have are for my YouTube channel. I have neither the time nor the interest to mess with social media. I don't understand TikTok, Instagram and stuff. I know that makes me really weird for a Filipina, but it's just the truth. So no. Plus, I don't know. I don't like taking pictures of myself and then posting it for public consumption. Maybe I start doing that for my patrons only. Next, have you ever done online dating? Yes, when I was in my early 20s, I used one of those popular dating sites to meet people that I wouldn't have met in my day-to-day life here in the Philippines. Although my first boyfriend, my first foreigner boyfriend, I met him in person. But I don't think it's the best way to meet people personally because there are a lot of scammers there. But for someone out in the provinces, like me and like the other girls, it can be the only way to meet people, especially foreigners. So yes, but I do not advise dating online. You can get to know someone there, but it's not a relationship if it's online, for me personally. You can get to know a person, but you really have to meet the person to have an actual relationship. Next. Do online guys usually ask for naked photos and inappropriate chat? How do you handle it? I wouldn't say usually, but sometimes they do, yes. And that's when I know it's probably not gonna work out, especially if it's early on. I don't get mad, I usually handle it with humor. Like one time someone asked me for a naked photo, so I said, sure, why not? I I sent him a picture of a naked woman that was so fat you could hardly tell if it was a woman, and then I just politely stopped communicating. So that's how I handle it. Next. Brings back good memories. How important is marriage to you? Do you want to get married? Okay, having the marriage certificate isn't really that important to me, but forging a permanent relationship is very important. People joke about me being, the cat lady, but that's not what I want for my future. So yes, I want to get married to the right person in the future. Next. Does your mother nag you to get married? Oh boy. Yep. She's constantly nagging me to get married and I need to have my children of my own, because if I don't, she said that I would grow old lonely and alone, so I won't have anyone to provide for me when I get older. But I told her, Mother, that's not the reason for you to have children because they're not your retirement plan. Again, so I'm not swayed by her argument. So I would gladly say, yeah, it's a constant issue with me and my mother. I know, Mom. We'll get there. Do you think men have it harder in life or women? Okay, I think men have it harder at first for sure. Early on, women can pretty much pick and choose whatever they want and they get all kinds of advantages in life. Men have to deal with the fear of rejection, which is something women don't really face, in my opinion. There's so much pressure to be a real man and find a good job and be a leader, while women pretty much get a free ride unless they have to support their family. Later in life, though, I'd say it's much more even, and women have more responsibility as they age. And then they get fewer freebies, I think, especially if you're not in your prime. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. Next question. If you could either be smart or beautiful, which would you choose? Smart any day of the week. Looks only last for the first half of your life, but being smart will get you through the whole thing. And it's a lot more fun along the way. So yes, smart over beautiful. Well, there it is. Now you know what I think of all the issues I brought up in my interviews, guys. And if you have any questions of your own that I didn't cover, you can ask them in the comment section below. I might even answer them. I'll be back later in the week with a special update on someone we all know and love. Till next time, folks. Bye! And now for the bonus questions. Do you save empty bottles and broken junk like other Filipinos? Oh boy. Yes, I confess that I do that. And I know if there's this nice glass bottle or container that I think I can use later on, I'll wash off the label and I'll keep it. Actually, there was a ceiling fan in my place that got fried during a lightning storm a few weeks ago, and our landlord replaced it and threw the old one away. And for some odd reason, I couldn't let it go. So what I did, I took it back inside and put it inside my closet. I know it's kind of silly. I know I'm never going to use it, but I just can't seem to help myself. I might be a hoarder. So yes, I'm a real Filipina. Sue me. Next. If you were walking past a fence with a small hole in it and look through it to see an attractive man taking a shower outdoors, would you keep peeking or just walk away? Alright, I think the answer is kind of obvious. If I'm being honest, I'd have to say I'd probably keep looking if I thought no one's watching me. Not for half an hour, but for a few minutes at least. So if any of you folks shower outdoors, watch out for the peeping pea. If you think about it, I'm kind of like the girl next door. No costumes, no superpowers, just someone who keeps their eyes and ears open and knows how to get you the information you need when trying to learn about life in the Philippines. I'm familiar with Western culture, and I know my own, so I can be a valuable resource when it comes to all things Filipino. If you enjoy my channel and want to help it grow, please hit the thumbs up button on this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and consider checking out my Patreon page where you'll find exclusive videos and features. And you can rest assured that I'll be bringing you fresh, high-quality content twice a week. See you around the neighborhood! Oh, I almost forgot. Can I borrow a cup of sugar?